Hey you guys, Matt Allen here. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin. Today we are headed out on the lake and it is hot, humid. And what we're going to do is go out summer bass fishing and build a pattern together. You want to see how to catch these fish when it's hot? Let's go figure it out. A lot of people are afraid to go out in the middle of the day in the summer when it's hot. I waited until the middle of the day. It is noon right now, and we are headed out, and it's cooking. It's high 80s, low 90s, but we've got really high humidity because of this southern storm that you see in the sky there pushing in. So there's some thunderheads coming this afternoon. Actually, it looks like they're already here, but it is cooking out here. We've got 12 different rods rigged up. I have no pattern. Everything from ledge fishing baits to ultra shallow to fishing grass. We're going out in the middle of the day on a summer afternoon to try and build a pattern and catch some of these fish, and I think we can do it. Could not resist the urge to get out on some of this outside stuff. Just trying to cover water quick and see if there were any active fish. So I went with a little bait. I went with that Jackal Daracoop. Nice little fish. Got a real one here. It almost feels too big. Big old catfish. Big old nasty catfish on the scrounger. Come here. Well, we had to start somewhere. Might as well be with that guy. Hopefully it gets a little better than that. Hopefully we find some bass out here. That was not exactly the start I had in mind, but we'll take any fish that wants to bite. He bit that guy right there, but he destroyed my entire leader. I was throwing that guy on 18-pound leader and it's just twisted up and stretched and sprung. So I'm gonna pull that whole leader off. It's one of the reasons I fish braid, is now my entire main line is still good. I just need to change out that leader. We're gonna go to 20-pound just in case. Still got nasty slime all over me. I saw a bunch of fish out here on this ledge. That's the first bite. Let's hope there's some bass mixed in. If not, we'll just keep right on cruising. I'm connecting this with a modified blood knot. We've got some videos on how we tie this, but that's how I like to make my connections. because it's fast and it's clean and I can visibly see when it's tied correctly. There's no question that it's right. And I'm back in business. There we go. So I got done tying on that scrounger, and I decided to tie on an underspin too. First cast. Oh. I hope you guys just saw that. That fish, I'm in 24 feet of water. That fish just bit with 2 feet of line out on the surface. I set out of just pure shock. He came out of the water, came off, flew to the back of the boat and landed back in the lake. It's like a 2.5 pounder. What just happened? I mean, we're not exactly smashing them out here. We're getting bit, but we're not smashing. What would possess one of them to just go crazy, charge up 20 feet and eat that thing on the surface? Did not see that one coming. There we go. Another one of those fish that might be too strong. Oh. He's not rolling like a catfish though. He's coming up. Oh, he's gonna jump. That might be a bass. I lost him. That was a 5 to 6 pound largemouth. Oh, that burns. That was a really nice fish. That was the fish we were sitting out here in this open water trying to catch. Oh, that burns. All you can do is throw back in there. He just felt too big. Like a catfish, but it never rolled. But then when he started coming to the top, I mean, you know, that's a bass. Ugh. So we're positioned in kind of a funny way. I'm throwing my bait upriver, so upstream. I don't even know if I remember to tell you, we're on Chickamauga today. So we're on the Tennessee River. This is our home lake. So there's flow, there's current running through here. It's part of the river. So I'm throwing my baits upstream, letting them hit the bottom and then swimming them with the current. Because as you would expect, a fish would sit facing the current. So it's just a natural presentation to come downstream. However, today we've got a wind that is blowing the opposite. The wind is blowing straight upstream and is blowing harder than the current is coming downstream. So I've got us on spot lock with the old Trex to hold our position, but it's got us faced that way, but I'm casting reverse right over the top of the boat back upstream. So we're kind of discombobulated today, but that's why. I'm throwing upstream, hitting bottom, and then swimming down the river, and those fish that are positioning behind little rocks or whatever they're behind, staying out of the current, will pop out and eat it as it comes past. There we go. Big old drum. Whoa. Was going for the net, but he is ripping. Get up here, buddy. Big old nasty guy. Big old drum. You never know. When you get on this offshore stuff in the summer, the bass are there to eat. So is everything else. You might catch a drum, a bass, a striper, a catfish. That one, that's the biggest of the Damiki vaults. It's heavy. I believe it's a 3/4 ounce, if I'm not mistaken. I went with that big one so I could get down and stay down. Throwing that on a halo. I'm playing with another new rod. We're always trying new stuff, just trying to find the best of the best. But I'll tell you what, that may not have been a bass, but he smashed that thing. Jeez. All right, we've burned quite a bit of our day already fishing out here offshore. We've caught some fish, had a bunch of shots, lost that great big one. I think it's time to completely shift gears. Let's go shallow. Let's start fishing grass. We might still fish offshore, but we'll fish offshore shallow grass. Maybe we'll get right up on the bank. Let's just go try some different things and make sure that what we're doing right now is our best option, because we're working hard for it. We are not getting a lot of bites. We've gotten some of the right bites, but it's not like we're just smashing these fish. The hours are ticking by. So let's shift gears, try something totally different. That fish right there, that may be the turning point in our day. Not a big fish. But since we were out on the ledge, I've missed a few topwater bites, nothing special. They seemed small. I've missed them on a chatterbait. I've had some short strikes on an underspin. I mean, just dead. Dead, dead, dead. To the point that I thought, man, maybe it's just one of those days. Maybe I should wrap it up. I should have stayed out on the ledge, but I gave that up. And now it's just brutal. But I thought, you know, it's late enough in the day now. There's starting to be shadows. So I pulled into this pocket, picked up that trusty shower blows, literally still tied on the same NRX Plus MBR from a few videos back. I left it on there. Pulled up and I'm on my second shadow, and that fish just smashed that shower blows. And that might be a turning point. You know, it could have been random. We'll know here pretty soon. But when one just comes up and smashes it after I've just been getting little tap short strikes for a couple of hours, that's a good sign. There we go. We got a pattern. More than just a pattern, they're really eating it. They're getting a face full of that bait. They're not just batting at it. They're really crushing it. Well, you talk about a day where they're eating a little bit of everything. We have hardly had 2 bites on the same bait all day. And we're not getting a ton of bites, but this is true junk fishing. Now, we have identified 2 patterns, right? We've got fish that are on offshore structure, fishing outside breaks, and then we've got those topwater fish that are in a really predictable spot. The shadows are getting them in tight to shore, and then they're sitting right where there's hard edges, so somewhere where they can corral bait, whether that's a bend in a wall, whether that's the back of a pocket. It's always where they can corral bait fish and ambush them. I'm gonna make a few more casts with this, and then maybe we'll wrap it up with the topwater. Little guy. First cast on a new spot though. We were definitely catching a better quality of fish, or at least hooking a better quality of fish. I still haven't shaken that I lost that big one, but that's all right. We were getting a better quality of bite out there in the deep water. But we're having a whole lot more fun throwing topwater. I did try to get back on one of those offshore areas, and there were boats on it. So I just scrapped it and came back to throwing topwater, and I think that's the way we'll wrap it up. It's just too much fun slinging that topwater, waiting for that explosion. That's the fish we've been looking for. Get in there. That bite was so subtle. She just scooped it up. Huge head on this fish. She hasn't bulked back up after the spawn yet, so she doesn't weigh anywhere near as much as she should. Boy, you weren't going anywhere, were you? I had you pegged. Big old head on that fish. Too much fun. All right, guys, I think we'll wrap it up there. Hot summer day. A lot of people would just stay home. You don't need to do that. You can go out on the water middle of the day and catch fish. You just have to pay attention to those subtle cues. We know after the spawn, those fish split. Some went shallow, some went deep. Today we looked for both groups. We found both groups. We didn't catch a ton of fish, but we got some really nice ones. Had a blast along the way. In the video description, I'll link all the baits, the gear. We caught them on everything under the sun, but I'll link all those baits for you. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon.